Welcome back. Let's take a look at the market picture now. There certainly has been some positive tinges coming through in the Asian market picture, but for the most part, though, you're seeing the Shanghai Composite just dip a little bit lower, and perhaps that's just a confidence thing at this moment in time, but they've done away, unfortunately, with more than 5 points there. That's nearly 2/3% lost, but the Hang Seng and the Nikkei both showing some positivity there as well. The market did try to ease up when it comes to, of course, the GameStop issue and Reddit as well, and how that played into the market. But they've begun to pick up actually, and now sitting into some positive territory across Asia. Similar picture then out in Europe as well. Then in fact we're sitting much better off for the most part. The CAC 40 is the biggest gainer for what seems like a second day in a row. Then more than 1% gained out in France. That's 59 index points out on that front. Mostly positive, as you can tell from the global sphere. So if that is the case, then we're bound to follow that trend for the most part. We're at 64,416 points, more than 1% or around 1% to the good. Then the biggest gainers today being the financial shares. In fact, 3.5% better off, because banks have also actually done very well today. 4.33% to the good. So enjoying some sense of resurgence out on this front. Perhaps questions of stimulus and just how far market participants will basically go into the stock market as well. Resources are up 0.8%. This is perhaps just a mixture of platinum and gold miners going in different directions, but platinum taking the biggest haul out of all of those. A pretty flat stance in this lunchtime trading picture for industrials. In terms of stocks that have gone up today as well, following the market trend overall, 14.92%, a near 15% gain for Steinhoff. Sun International following that trend. So too was Resilient, which went up nearly 7% in this lunchtime trading picture too. Long for Life is also down, unfortunately, today, more than 3%, with Sappi following in a similar picture. Rhodes Foods going down more than 2%. Onto your commodities board, some gains all across here. Then it seems like demand might be coming back ever so slightly. 1.5% higher for the platinum price at $1,113 a fine ounce. It's $1,806 an ounce. Then for gold, the yellow metal also going into some positive territory, and it seems that all that glitters is becoming a little bit more gold looking at the very least. The highest oil price in about a year now, nearly 1% higher this afternoon as well. $59.40 a barrel. That's not going to help our petrol price as well in future, is it? But unfortunately not. But here we go. That oil price still gaining across the board. On the local front, we're sitting much better when it comes to the currency then. A slight betterment against the US dollar of around 0.25%. So that's why we're at 14.95. We're at 17.91 then for a euro. British pound will set you back 20 Rand and 46 cents. Warwick Lucas from Galileo Capital now joins us to unpack this market picture a little bit more. Warwick, thank you so much for the time. Always good chatting to you, bud. So very quickly, perhaps we can start at that oil price. It's certainly getting to $60 a barrel sooner rather than later. A one-year high pretty much for this oil price. Can it go even higher? What's the next sort of ceiling?
Right. I think in terms of where can it go next, I would say it's probably looking like it's getting into the territory where it might take a breather. When I look out along the futures curve, that is oil that's sold, say, 3 months forward or 6 months forward or so on, we're looking at prices that actually are at this stage a little bit lower than this current price. So this current price is reflecting a certain amount of recovery and confidence, and some confidence that vaccines are going to start making a difference to economic outlook and broad economic confidence. But we're yet to see the confirmation. It's important to bear in mind with the oil price that it really was smashed last year. I mean, the volumes in 2020 were down 9%, a whole 9% from the previous year. That is a heck of a smash. In terms of a commodity like this. So I think one must bear in mind it's coming off a heck of a low base, and the recovery we've seen so far it's a good one, and it's got nice traction, and it certainly doesn't owe an awful lot more right now.
Yes, look, doesn't help our petrol price, unfortunately, though. But nonetheless, certainly good news on the global front for the most part there. Some other news as well. Is the stimulus finally on its way? There seems to be some sense of positivity. The global market's expecting some sort of good news by the sense of it. Also, unemployment in the United States. It seems that more and more people are still filing for those unemployment benefits. So it's still hurting, isn't it? This pandemic hasn't gone away.
Absolutely. With the US and its various political blocs, I think one is always used to the idea that there's lots of wrangling and back and forth and negotiating before anything happens, and that's just part of the checks and balances of how things work there. So I think we will see a stimulus. It's really just a question of how big it is and who does it go to, clearly the Republicans looking to limit it to the poorest households, the Democrats looking to make it more broadly spread out, and that's the essence of it.
Yeah, okay. On the local front then, on to some company news here locally. Cost cutting is never a bad thing, especially when it makes you a leaner, more profitable business. Just look at Nampak, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an encouraging looking trading statement that we see from them there. They look like they've managed to fit within the various debt covenants and performance metrics, which is great. I think it also helped that they made the business leaner and meaner. They've done a certain number of asset sell downs, which reduced their interest bill. They've obviously now got past assorted foreign exchange surprises and frights that hurt them earlier, and then the lower interest rates that have prevailed have also, I think, been helpful to them. You know, bear in mind it was once upon a time a company with quite a big debt burden, and the cuts in interest rates that came through, I think, made a real difference in their lives in terms of managing to get by, service the interest and run down debt. So it's encouraging to see that corporate SA in some quarters is managing to find its footing and hold and sustain despite tough times.
Yeah, no, quite correct. There certainly is beneficial. All right, very quickly on the other side, Anglo Platinum, of course, they have a mothballed mine in Bokoni, and they've been looking for quite a few buyers. It does seem like there are quite a few that are now quite keen to get into that mine.
There were quite a number of contenders there. It seems like it's been narrowed down to two primary ones, namely Northam and Sianda. It's a relatively small mine compared to the overall Anglo portfolio. They like big projects, and this particular one, despite an apparent turnover of more than R1 billion, if it was actually operating, would still be less than 1% of their portfolio. So that sort of tends to put in perspective the kind of big operations that Anglo likes, and to kind of outsource smaller operations to more mom and pop operators or small mine specialists.
Yeah, sure. Very interesting then. We'll see. I mean, they continue that sort of spread to try and ensure that they're also a leaner business. So very interesting thoughts there. Warwick, enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for the time. I'd appreciate it. Warwick Lucas, Galileo Capital, joining us to unpack the market picture. So what's next? Well, we have Your Money, SME on point, and books on point as well. It is the end of the week then for me. I'll join you again, of course, on Friday at the top of the hour. My colleague Nompumelelo Siziba will join you then to give you the latest news headlines. Do stay tuned to SABC News from me and the team here at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. That's where the buck stops.